Hey, what's up, YouTube? Well, I'm making a video kind of soon after I've made my last one, but I really do believe that my video from 2 days ago is doing very well. It's already got over 140 some odd views, and that's really good from one of my videos. You know, they usually stay pretty low for a long time. And, I'm not exactly sure why my videos don't get a lot of views, because I think they're very interesting, and why nobody wants to respond to them, with comments or, I don't think they do video responses anymore, but for some strange reason, my videos just don't get any views. And if you hear a lot of noise, it's because there might be construction going on in another apartment and people talking outside, so ignore that. But what I want to talk about today is a number of things. I think I'll title this Rugrats Reboot and more, because I'm just so desperate for people to view my videos that I want to make a video about a hot topic. And obviously the only reason any of my videos seem to have any views is because I talk about the Rugrats. The sooner I could find a subject to talk about that would get more views, I would talk about it. One that I'm into, of course. Well, I've got my telescope being used as a tripod once again. Unfortunately, we don't have much of a moon right now. We have that little bitty sliver of moon that's out all day long, so there won't be a lot of stargazing or moon gazing tonight, or for a while. But, what I'd like to talk about, first of all, I've been working on a project that I'm really proud of, and it's basically, these, they have these little Kiddles, and I've been having this Tracy doll, Tracy of the little Kiddles, and I have this, I think her name is Susie or something. She's like a blonde version. And this one's name is Harriet. No, she's not supposed to be a boy. And I put her in like a Kelly doll outfit. And then I got this boy named, I want to say his name is Howard Biff. And that is the official name they gave him. Why, I don't know. But he's special. Because although he is the shortest, he is a boy. Well, not technically, because obviously you can imagine he's lacking a certain body part. But he's supposed to be a boy. And what I wanted to talk about is how I made this little outfit out of a sock that had a hole in it. Isn't that amazing? This old naked doll that had bite marks all over his body is now wearing nice, cozy, footy pajamas, all because I took a sock with a hole in it and was able to make it into a pair of pajamas for a little boy with a cute little blue button. And I didn't go all the way down with the buttons because I thought it was silly enough with one. Just wanted to decorate it a little bit. But there he is. And the reason I got him for such a reasonable price is because of the fact that he had bite marks and he was nude. And I felt sorry for him. So yeah, I might have other little Kiddles, and I might show them at another time. But they're basically the old-timey version of the Kelly doll. The Tootie doll, Tootie and Todd was literally their names. They were very similar to these dolls, only they were a bit taller. They were like the Stacy dolls. And these little Kiddles were kind of like the Kelly Club dolls. They're made very similarly, only they're smaller. And that's what I want to talk about is the Rugrats Reboot versus Little Kiddles. And, I just think they're so cute, sweet, and innocent looking. I mean, yes, they look like cartoon characters, but they have a certain innocence about them that the Rugrats just don't have. And, that's what I want to talk about, is how, these dolls I think were made like maybe even in the late 50s and early 60s, like sometime around, I don't know, my mom could have probably had some when she was little, had she been able to get them. Um, and that's why, if they're in mint condition, they cost a lot. Um, and I didn't really have a big collection, but, they're just coming into availability as old people die and leave them to younger people who don't appreciate them for what they are. And so, yeah, the price, like if this little guy were in mint condition with his original clothing, he could easily be a $50 doll. Just this little 3.5-inch boy could be $50. And what's really unique about him is how he has blonde hair and brown eyes, which, like I've stated before, is super rare. There's a lot of dolls with blonde hair, blue eyes, or, brown hair, brown eyes, or brown hair, blue eyes, but not a lot of blonde hair, brown eyes. So, yeah, he's unique, and the girls all have blue eyes. But what I want to talk about is just that, how dolls and cartoons from the bygone era, when the voice actresses behind the Rugrats were actual little girls, kids used to be so innocent. And, like, I don't know how to explain it. The way that children were portrayed in literature and cartoons and, just works of fiction in general was just so sweet and innocent, so lovable looking. I mean, look at that face. Sure, they're not realistic, but I mean, they have an innocence about their face. And, there weren't a lot of, I don't know, there weren't a lot of cartoon humans. Most cartoon characters were animals. Because some of the ridiculous stunts that they did were just not things that you wanted to see done to humans, or, especially children. But then you had your Disney style, which is kind of what they are, of animation. And, when there were children, they just had a certain innocent look about them. And it's like, you couldn't hate them. No matter who they were, you really just couldn't hate them. Because they were portrayed, as being innocent, and having, like, they don't specify this, but there was kind of an understanding that, until a certain age, a child just hadn't reached the age of accountability for their sins. And, most people were Christian. But this idea of a 3-year-old child being a villain was just, it would have just been totally unheard of. A cartoon where you have a 3-year-old bullying younger babies, that just, I don't think that existed in those days. I mean, they probably didn't have cartoons about high school kids bullying underclassmen. But, it's like, it just, there's just a certain innocence that I feel the Rugrats lack. And, it's like, and another thing, this whole, toilet humor and diaper thing, like I've stated before, was pretty much non-existent, it was just, like, if it existed, I sure haven't found out about it. But, they also, like, another thing about that time period is that, if you type "go diaper free" in the search bar up there, you'll find that, for thousands of years and still in much of the world, diapers as we know them today are fairly modern. These dolls were from the time when kids were still being potty trained, by 18 months. And so all this toilet humor just wasn't really a part of the culture back then as much as it is today. And so that was absent. But I feel like, with the Rugrats and all that, it just makes me so angry because the voice actresses and the writers of the show got to grow up when the world was a bit more normal, childhood was more innocent. yet they turn around and make something that is just so disgusting and so vile and so disturbing at times, and present it to this younger generation, and now the world is chaos. And like, I don't say that they're the reason behind the chaos, but they definitely didn't help, make kids into polite, kind-hearted people with shows like that. And so, it just really, I don't even know where I'm going with this, but I just think that, I just feel like something is lost, when you portray like young children, in a way that they're not innocent, and, they're scheming, conniving, like beings, like they're basically adults wearing diapers and presenting themselves as children, which is about as disturbing as it gets. That's kind of the other extreme from the diaper-free thing, if you know what I mean. So basically, it's just, yeah, they did have diapers, but they were usually cloth, and they were thought of as like a backup, so to speak. But, it's just, I don't know. I'm still having mixed feelings about the Rugrats reboot and whether or not I want to watch it. I mean, I know I'm going to be curious unless and until I do, and I'm sure I'll see some of it in some way. But, just, I don't know. Just something tells me that nothing really good can come out of it. Because the show did not portray childhood as the innocent state that it is and should be. And I don't know, I just, when you have babies, doing things like, the things that they did, portraying Bible characters, when one of them is a female, pretending to be a male named Pharaoh, and the other one is voiced by a woman pretending to be Moses. I mean, come on, people. So I just don't see it as being very innocent. But what I don't believe is that Angelica ever wore panties, and you'll never convince me. You'll never convince me that she wore panties, because only a male could be stupid enough to look at that and say, yeah, that's a pair of panties. That's exactly what my wife wears, or my girlfriend, or whatever, or my mom. Because I don't believe that she ever was truly potty trained. I feel like that's just another, aspect of the show, that was hidden. But, I mean, believe me, there's just, I see everything through a lens of everything that exists or is invented is for the benefit of men in some way. Okay, nothing exists or stays around very long if it doesn't benefit the male gender. And you have to ask yourself the question, look at everything and say, how does this benefit men? Even if it's marketed to women or bought by women, how does it benefit the male gender? Okay, so basically, I feel like the whole Rugrats show and pretty much every other cartoon was just created to benefit the male gender. And Angelica is just another, thing, another entity or character that was created for the benefit of men. And I feel like, sure, they may have wanted kids to think she wore panties, and they may have even wanted parents of kids to think that, just so they would allow their kids to watch the damn show and, be like, okay, well, I guess at least the kids are potty trained early, so they're good role models. Ha. But I really do believe that, underneath that dress, underneath the blue pants, she wore a diaper. I do not believe she actually wore underwear and was potty trained. And of course, like I've stated before, she's not a real person and she didn't have real bodily functions just like all the others. But in the truest sense that she exists, she literally crapped her pants. And I'm also of the mindset that just because they don't show something happening in Rugrats doesn't mean that I don't know how to explain it. Like, just because they never show, like, and I just love this drawing board, just because they never show the inside of the diaper, okay? And it being absolutely disgusting. Okay, I'm not going to be more accurate because I don't want this video, you know, to be a bad video. Okay, so just because they never show you the inside of their diaper, or really, I mean, any of them's diaper in any episode or movie, okay, in my mind, you know, I mean, yes, they're fictional, but that does not mean that they didn't crap their pants, you know, and like I said, you know, it's not mutually exclusive. I mean, you know, just look at, I mean, just look at Daddy's Little Helpers, for instance. I mean, did they ever show you the inside of any one of them's diaper? Well, no, of course not. They would never show, you know, something that graphic, not even in Ren and Stimpy, which is pretty bad. You know, the most they can really show you is the outside of the diaper and lines indicating that it is full, okay? So, basically, in Daddy's Little Helpers, did they ever show you the inside of any one of them's diaper? Well, no. They never show you any one of them getting changed. They cut to another scene, okay? But does that mean any of them didn't poop their pants? Or, you know, let's just say Dill pooped his pants. Well, does that mean Tommy or Phil and Lil didn't? Well, no. So I feel the same way about Angelica in the third movie and those other episodes. You know, just because they never show the inside of her diaper does not mean that she didn't crap her pants. And even if the other kids crapped their pants, that does not mean she didn't crap her pants. So you'll never disprove it in my mind. You know, she literally crapped her pants. So I will never quit saying what I've been saying. Okay, I will never quit saying this. I will never quit saying that she pooped in her pants.